From Capitol Hill to Wall Street, this is Politics and Profits with your host, Rick Amato.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Rick Amato. It's time for Politics and Profits.
We follow the trends on Capitol Hill that lead to the profits on Wall Street. We expose the hard facts of what your elected officials are doing when you're not looking. And we show you how you can profit from their politics. The American dream is alive and well, and you can be proud to call America your home. And now, it's Rick Amato.
Welcome, everybody. Politics and Profits. I'm Rick Amato. Great to have you with us. Big show on tap. A lot of important stories. A lot of great guests to give us some insight, entertainment, and information. And let's get started right off the get-go. Join me at this time via Zoom, live from Washington, D.C., is the online opinion editor of the Washington Times. You've seen her at Fox News. You've seen her at Fox News. You've seen her at my old show at One America News, and you've seen her here previously on Politics and Profits. Let me welcome Cheryl Chumley. Cheryl, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rick. I'm glad to be back. Always great to chat with you.
All right, great to have you back. And, you know, Cheryl, I've not told you this previously, and I just want to get it out there. I follow your articles. You're not only an editor at the Washington Times, you're also a columnist. I read your articles, and you do not hold back. You hit the trending, important stories that everyone's talking about, and you smack them head on with your opinion, your viewpoint, and you back it up with facts and reasoning. And I just want our viewers to be aware of that.
Thank you.
Three important stories out there I want to cover with you. First is this. Former CBS president, CBS, not Fox News, former CBS president has come out and said that there is a horrific bias in the media today. He says there's a strong left-leaning bias. It's obvious, it's unprofessional, and there's no going back. Goes on to say, because there's no going back, we in the media should just admit it. He says that journalists today, do not even pretend to be balanced and neutral in their journalistic approach. What's your take on all that?
Well, I think this is just stating the obvious, what we've all known for years, for decades even, and what we've all known backed by polls and surveys from Pew Research Center that has done several studies on the political leanings of reporters, journalists, correspondents, and anchors and so forth in the media, and consistently has found that those in the media lean left. They either vote Democrat, are self-described Democrats, or they are self-proclaimed independents who consistently vote for the farthest left issues at the polls. So it's refreshing to actually have somebody within that mainstream media come out and say what we've all been saying, what we've all known for years.
And it's what Andrew Breitbart brought to the public attention when he was around at a mainstream level. But Cheryl, isn't it one thing in your personal life to vote a certain way, and another to bring that to your job? I mean, in the past, isn't the CBS president correct that in the past that journalists, and I'm talking years ago, journalists brought a journalistic integrity to their career, regardless of how they may have voted in their personal life? Or am I wrong on that?
Absolutely. I remember from my journalism training in college, the basic who, what, where, when, why in the lead. And the harping on the need to get at least three sources for confirming certain facts, to get quotes from, a variety of sources. If you've got somebody speaking on the left, you would try and get the balance of somebody speaking for the right. Now it's all about the hit job. It's all about the hatchet attacks, the clicks on social media, the quick bullet point attacks on television news. And it has very little to do with truth. And what that means for the average citizen is you have to recognize that this is all about driving money to the media outlets, driving eyeballs, driving clicks, and that if you want to be an informed citizen nowadays, you have to do a little bit of research on your own. You have to dig a little deeper and find those alternate sources, those countering viewpoints on your own.
all about driving money. It's an excellent point. It's, and the management may bring their personal biases, but it's about appealing to a certain demographic out in the marketplace. The final question on this topic. Trump has, battled this media unlike any president ever in history. At first, I thought it was a bad idea, but now I'm like, you know what? He's just exposing them for what they are. Do you think we'll ever look at the media again the same way in this country as we did previously? Do you think the media landscape changes in the future based upon the what's being exposed currently?
I think President Trump has done a tremendous job of calling out the media for its bias. And you can see the tremendous nature of his job because the media has just been over the top vicious. Had Trump been quieter, this media would have been a lot nicer to him because he would have adopted that go along to get along type thing, and the media would have gone along and just taken little pot shots. We would have seen subtle stories and snarky stories at his policy. But instead, this media has just outed itself because of Trump's Twitter feed, because of Trump's bulldog approach to calling them out as fake news. You've seen the media just stumble over itself and reveal itself for the wickedness, basically, and the hatred that has marked them from the beginning of this administration.
All right.
And I don't think we're going to go back to calmer times.
You think they would have gone, they would have played get along with if he had not been a bulldog?
I think they wouldn't have been so open. They still would have tried to pretend as if they were unbiased. But as you said a couple minutes ago, those bets are off. The media is just out and about, hating Trump openly, hostile to Trump openly, and they're not even pretending as if they are unbiased any longer.
All right. Moving along, next big topic, the mail-in voting platform. Of course, I find it fascinating, and it's related to our previous topic. All Democrats, everyone in the mainstream media is for a mail-in voting platform, and we're finding that the Republicans and Trump don't want that. You see a connection between Joe Biden's basement campaign and all of a sudden the excitement for mail-in voting.
I do, and I think this has all come together. This whole COVID-19 pandemic crisis has come together as one of the Democratic Party's biggest political tools in recent times. From that, they get to keep Joe Biden, who is known left and right for gaffes. They get to keep him in his basement, where he doesn't have to deal with somebody like President Trump, where he doesn't have to deal with the media, where he can control his messaging with little podcasts that probably take 18 hours to cut in order to remove all of that.
Oh, man, that's a great point. Sure. I'm not hearing this anywhere else. Did I miss it? Or are you the only one out there talking about that right now?
Well, I'm just saying that there's a big connection here. And now from this pandemic, you have Nancy Pelosi calling for widespread mail-in voting. And now you have Valerie Jarrett, who just came out, the former Barack Obama whisperer in the White House, who said that she wants every state to have mail-in voting for the future. This is the Democrats' way of collapsing the American electoral system, collapsing the Electoral College, and ushering in election after election of fraud, where they get to solidify their leadership in politics for decades to come.
Wow. All right, so there's a couple things at play here. It's trying to handle Biden and his gaffes, and it's the harvesting of ballots. Is that what you're saying?
I am saying that, excuse me. I am saying that the fact that COVID-19 has come on the scene and made stay at home seem normal, the fact that Joe Biden gets to stay at home now, it basically gives Democrats a double-edged win. It gets them to allow Joe Biden to control his message, which is a very weak message, and that's his only chance of winning against Trump, to be in a setting where he can have controls on his message. And it also gives Democrats the tools to make the argument that mail-in voting should become a thing of the American political scene, not just now, but from now.
Elaborate.
And of course, it gives Democrats a tool for.
Elaborate on how it gets around electoral college. That's a very, very important point you made. I want to make sure our viewers understand why you're saying that.
Well, as you're aware, and as your listeners are aware, that the Electoral College, the collapsing of it, has been a Democrat dream for a very long time, because what it does is it removes those protections that we have in this nation, where it's not just ruled by population in select cities. In other words, the cities of California and Massachusetts, where there are large populations of Democrats. Without an electoral college, their voice would become that of the entire nation. The Electoral College protects the flyover states, the southern states, the states with smaller populations.
So how does mail-in ballots get around that?
Well, when you have mail-in ballots, what happens is it drives in the minds of voters the acceptance of staying at home and voting. And so then the next step for that becomes vote for president by popular ballot. So why do we need the Electoral College? We can all just stay at home and vote by popular ballot. And that's a banana republic. That's what other nations have.
All right. Cheryl Chumley, next time we bring you on, we're going to talk about Big Brother surveillance. Is it coming as a result of COVID-19? We're out of time now. Where can our viewers across America find you?
At Washington Times or on Twitter at CK Chumley.
All right. Cheryl Chumley, two important stories, this bias in the media pointed out by the former CBS president, and Joe Biden wanting a mail-in campaign, Democrats wanting a mail-in campaign to cover up for Joe Biden. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ray.
Broadcasting from the Liberatory CPA studios, which is my home, I'm Amato, back with more after this.